Watch Mr. Wizard. That's what all the kids in the neighborhood call him because he shows them the magic and mystery of science in everyday living.
Mr. Wizard!
Oh, hi, Alan. Come on in.
Hi, Mr. Wizard.
Hi. Round over here and see what I have on the screen. See those two words?
Yeah, sound and light.
Yes. And here's a piece of plastic, which when I put behind it and turn it, watch.
The word light disappears.
Yes, I turned the word light out. And sound doesn't go out, though, does it?
No.
Regardless of how I turn it, sound doesn't go out.
Well, why?
Well, first of all, is there a difference between sound and light that this would indicate?
Sure, there's a difference.
What?
Well, sound you can hear and light you can see.
Well, all that means is that your eyes just aren't tuned to sound and your ears aren't tuned to light, that's all. Could be the same anyway.
Well, sound is vibration.
So is light. Very definitely vibration.
Well, light makes things brighter and...
Sound is louder. In other words, light gets brighter and dimmer.
Yeah.
Well, sound gets louder and softer.
But they're not the same.
How about pitch? You forgot to mention pitch. In other words, you can have a high sound and a low sound, can't you?
Yeah.
Well,
That's sound. You can't have that with light.
Yes, you can. The red wavelengths are long ones, and the violet and the ultra, and the violet on the other end of the spectrum, they're short, so they have different frequency theirs too. Well, I think sound and light are more alike than they are different.
I don't know. I think they're pretty much. I don't think they're alike.
You don't think they're? Well, maybe I'll have to prove it to you.
All right.
If I prove it to you, will you admit it? That sound and...
Well, if they're reasonable things, if the proof is reasonable.
I'm not going to get you to be able to see sound or hear light.
Oh.
But I will be able to show you some things, to do two different kinds of things, to do a demonstration and show that I can do it with both light and sound. Right behind you there is a microphone. See it? Right there?
Uh-huh.
Now, on the other side is a light source. I don't want to blind you with it. See, there's the light.
Yeah.
Okay. And here is a little mic. It is a little speaker, and I can control it back here. See? There's a little sound. So now I can send both a beam of light and a beam of sound over here at this microphone. Now watch. This meter is connected to the microphone, so we can tell when the microphone is receiving a sound by whether the meter goes up. Watch. See it?
It's going up.
And notice the light is hitting the microphone
it's hitting
too?
the mic.
Okay, well now I sent both a beam of light and a beam of sound, and they both hit the microphone. They're alike.
Well, maybe in halfway, but they're not the same thing.
Well now, here's a mirror. If you hold that mirror up and I adjust the light, you can shine the light on the microphone, can't you? Here, I'll turn it like this, and you can shine the light. Here, I'll hold it up like this, and you shine the light right at the microphone. Okay. Now I'll turn the sound on and see if you can do the same thing. See if we can get the sound to go and bounce off the mirror and up here too. Watch. Now try up. I'll turn this up a little more. See where the needle is? Now take the mirror away. Now put it up again. See that? Now you notice both the light was hitting and the sound were both hitting the mirror, both hitting in fact, you can see the light right on the meter. I reflected both of them. That proves it, doesn't it? Very definitely. That you can reflect both of them.
But they're still not the same.
Well, all right. I'll do another one now. This time, we'll keep the microphone where it is, and I'll turn these sources away like this. See? Better turn this one out. And have you ever, made a sound through a hose? We can talk through a hose.
Yeah.
Oh, right here on the floor is a hose. Here, you take one end, and I'll take the other, a garden hose. So now it goes all the way down here, wine gets all twisted up and comes out the other end. All right, now I'll turn on the speaker and put a funnel here so I can collect the sound.
Yeah.
And when I get it going, you see if you can hear it, and then also put it here next to the microphone, see if we get any sound there. Now try it. I'll turn it up a little more. Okay, go ahead. Try it again.
Works.
Okay, what happened?
Well, the sound, the vibration, went into the funnel through the garden hose.
Yeah.
Twisted around and
Yeah.
came out here and hit the microphone.
And made the needle go.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you can't do that with light.
Well, I can do it with light. I can't use the garden hose.
No.
Here, you want to just put it down here? But I can use something else that does the same thing. I can pipe light around corners and do everything else just like you. Ordinarily, you don't think of light as going around corners.
No.
But here, I'll turn it on. See, now there it is shining over towards you, right, sort of at the microphone in that.
Right.
But here's a piece of plastic. Let's see if I can get it adjusted here so that I can show you. If I hold it here like this, watch the end here. See it?
Yeah.
I'll put my fingers in front of it or move it right around. I'm piping the light, right?
Goes right
down here. It
through.
goes all the way down there and comes out over here. So I've done exactly the same thing with light. You're a hard one to convince, I
But-
must say.
Well, that just proves that they're similar in a few ways, but it doesn't prove that they're the same thing.
No, I didn't say that they were the same thing. I said that they were alike, and you said they weren't.
Well, they're alike in certain ways.
Oh, I see. Well, one more proof. I'll try to prove one more thing to you.
All right.
You know that you can focus light, can't you?
Sure.
You know, with a lens and so forth.
Uh-huh.
Well, I have here. I'll turn the light on again, and here's a flask of water. And you've probably done this. You know that you can see the light there on the microphone. See there?
Yeah.
Now watch. See how I can focus it? When I take it away, that's how bright it is. And see when I put the light with the bottle of water in, how I can focus the light there on the microphone?
It's larger.
Yeah.
Larger and brighter.
All right. See how bright it is. It's not larger. See, because there you can only see this, you know, the part of the light
Yeah.
isn't hitting it. But now I can collect most of it and stick it right there on the microphone. So you see, I can condense the light down onto that microphone. All right. Now, if I can do that with sound, will you be convinced?
Well, maybe.
All right. Turn the microphone this way. Here's the sound source like this. Now I have to pull a lens that'll focus sound in here.
Uh-huh.
You ever heard of such a thing?
Well, no, I don't think so. Balloon. It's kind of heavy.
Well, that's because. Well, I'll tell you why later. Let me turn on the sound and get a little signal here on the meter.
Yeah.
Now I'll put the balloon in the way and watch.
Wow. Went all the way up.
Yes, it's way up there. When I take the balloon away, it's there. You'd think the balloon would get in the way, wouldn't you? Watch
Yeah.
again.
That's just like the water. It's
Yes.
magnifying the sound.
Now, the reason the balloon was kind of heavy is that I filled it up not with air or with my breath, but instead with a special kind of gas called Freon. It's the kind of gas they use in refrigerators, and it's very heavy. And you can see that in many ways, these two are very much alike because this water is denser than air, isn't it?
Yes.
In other words, when the light went through here, it went through a denser medium, and that's how it was focused.
Uh-huh.
And when the sound went through a denser gas than air, it was focused too. So I
So
focused them
it's-
both.
Same thing. But, well,
I'll tell you, you're a doubting Thomas. One more now.
well, all right.
All right.
Just-
This time, would you light that candle, please?
Ready? Match.
Okay, now, I'll put that match, the candle in front. Here, let me pull it over a little more so that you can see it better.
Okay.
I want you to particularly notice what happens to the candle flame. I'll burn it down a little more. It gets a little lower because I want it about centered in the middle of the speaker. Now hear this. Here's a very low-pitched sound. What's happening to that candle flame?
It's moving the candle flame.
Why?
Well, because the speaker's vibrating, and it's sending out the vibrations, and the vibrations are hitting the flame.
Look at that.
Boy, that flame sure is nervous.
Yeah, and now you can see that the energy that is coming from the speaker must be going through the air here and making the candle vibrate. So we can transfer energy using sound.
Yeah.
What'll happen if I change the frequency and go a little higher?
Well, then the flame's going to vibrate.
No, put it out. Here.
Put it out.
Light it again.
How did that happen?
Well, now, can you explain why it would happen?
Oh, well, the vibration became so great that it blew the candle.
All right. So you see, we really can transfer energy. Okay, now what?
There it goes.
Okay. Anyway, you see how you can definitely transfer energy via sound. Sound is a form of energy.
Well, you can't do that with light.
You can't blow out a candle with light.
No.
But you can do something that pretty well will prove that you can transfer energy using light. Remember over here when you came in, I'll get this thing out of the way because here is a record player.
Yeah.
And I'll start the record. You can just barely hear the needle vibrating a little bit.
Yeah, just a
Well,
little.
that's because while I have the amplifier in here, I've disconnected the speaker.
Oh.
And instead of putting the speaker in, I put the wires up here into this flashlight. Now here, let me put the flashlight around here, because I want you to stand up here and hear this. Wait, I'll turn the light on first. Light on? Okay, now, listen.
I don't hear anything.
You sure?
Uh-huh. Anything come through?
You mean light?
Yeah.
Let me check. No, I don't see any light there. There must be something in there.
Yeah. I don't hear anything.
Well, in other words, you can't hear light.
No. How can you?
However, I think I can rig it up in such a way so that we can transfer the energy that's coming from the record via the light. Watch. Here's a motion picture projector,
Uh-huh.
and I'll move the light over here like this. Now watch. Put your hand in front of that one. Aren't we transferring the energy over there?
Yeah.
What's going on here now? Aren't we hearing light?
Yeah, I guess so.
In fact, you remember how we focused the sound over there?
Yeah.
Well, what should happen? See, the light is hitting this little thing right here.
Huh?
What'll happen if I put this bottle of water? Okay,
Oh.
I have to start the record over now.
It'll magnify the sound.
Sure, when I get the light magnified and shine it down on there, it should get what?
Louder.
All right, see what? If I take it away, it's only that volume. When I put the... In other words, the energy is going right through the water.
Yeah.
Well, now, would you please explain this?
Well, the energy from the vibration.
Okay, the needle vibrates over here, yeah.
And the energy's going down through here.
First it goes through the amplifier to make
Yeah.
it stronger, okay.
It goes down
Through the wire, all the way over to there.
to there.
Yes.
Now the light beam, I think, the light beam is carrying the
Here,
vibration.
you get over here, and I'll show you. I'll wrap this piece of paper around here so notice the music stopped. Now look, I'll start the record over so we have a nice loud passage. And you watch, see the light beam here?
Yeah.
See how it's going in and out?
It's
varying just
flickering.
yes, it's flickering. In other words, the light from the batteries in the flashlight, or the current from the batteries, is lighting the bulb to a certain brightness. Now, to that current, we're adding or subtracting energy depending on how the music is playing from the record player. So that's why the light is flickering back and forth like that, see?
Oh, and the beam of light carries the vibration
That's right.
into the speaker.
And I can control the volume here by this. Now, what's that got to do with a motion picture projector?
Oh, well, that's just the way a motion picture works.
Yes. Ordinarily, there's a little light right here, and that little light shines a beam of light through onto the film. And the film is darker or lighter or narrower or thinner, depending on the sound system. And that's what finally goes to a photocell and is changed into electricity.
That's
You get the
pretty
idea?
good.
Well, now, you see, I transferred light.
Yeah.
I transferred energy via light, too. Now, would you please tell me why you are not finally convinced? Let me turn off the flashlight, because we don't
Well,
want...
I still don't think that sound and light are the same.
Well, I
I
agree.
mean, if sound and light were the same thing, then why would they have two different names for them?
Well, that's one way they're
In
different.
one language.
They have different names. Well, you're right. They are different. But they're more alike than you thought. Now we've talked about various ways of showing that they're alike. Now let's show how they're different.
All right.
All right? Have you ever put a flashlight in a vacuum chamber?
No,
No?
I
You
didn't.
don't have any vacuum chambers around the house? Well,
No, I don't.
here is a vacuum chamber.
Uh-huh.
And when I put the top on like this, I can pump out the air in there with this vacuum pump. And inside, I have a door chime. Here, push the button. See?
In.
And here is also a flashlight, which I can turn on like that. See? Now, before I pump any air out, I'll put this on because this is going to cut down the sound. So you hear it now. Listen. Hear it? You can hear it, all right?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay. Now I'll turn on the vacuum pump, and what should happen?
Well, it's going to drain out all the air.
Don't take the air out. Okay. Now, how should that affect the door chime and the light?
Well, let's see. I think it should cut down the sound of the,
Keep ringing it every
Door.
once in a while. Yeah.
because,
yeah.
the vibration needs air to travel on.
Yes. And how about the light? What'll it do to that?
I'm not sure about the light. I think it'll be the same thing. I think it'll cut down the...
You think it should get dimmer?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. It's now about 25. Let's let it go until... Keep ringing it. Getting dimmer. The sound is
Yeah.
getting weaker, isn't it? But look at the light.
Light's the same.
Yes.
Sound's not. Sound's getting weaker.
Yes. So here is one of the most important differences between light and sound. Okay, now I'll turn this top here like this so that I can stop the pump and we can see if we can hear the sound. Try it once. Just barely.
Very faintly.
The light still is bright.
Yeah.
Now when I open this, we'll let the air back in, and you keep doing it all the time now, and we'll see if there's any difference.
Get
Here,
it
I've got
louder?
louder? Yeah. But the light was not affected at all.
No.
Okay. Now, tell me, what's one of the big differences between light and sound?
Well, sound needs air or something to travel on,
Yeah,
and the light doesn't.
that's right. In other words, sound needs something, either air or water or steel or something to go through. And light, this shouldn't surprise you. Can't you see the stars and the sun?
Well, yeah. And they're in a vacuum out of
Yeah,
space.
they're going in a vacuum, and the light energy goes right through it. So therefore, that's one of the big differences.
Uh-huh.
Okay, then there's another one. Right behind us here is a big, long coil of wire. Let's take it out of here. I have one end fastened to the wall over there. And you know, this is used to show various kinds of waves. All right?
Uh-huh.
Now, there I can do two kinds of waves with this, and I want you to see if you can tell me which is which. First, I can do a wave like this. What? Come on, get back over there. See, I can do a wave like that.
Uh-huh.
Now watch, I can also do a wave like this, look. And what's the difference, first of all?
Well, the first one, when you were going like that was
Like
going
this.
all over the place.
Yeah. And
This
this
one, that was going just in a straight line.
Now-
as if it was going within.
Yes. Now compare them. Which direction are both waves going in? They're both going
They're
toward the wall
both
over
going
there,
toward
right?
the wall.
Notice, however, the direction in which the energy of the wave itself is going. In this case, is the energy of this wave going up and down here toward the wall?
No, it's going
At right angles. This way, yes. How about in this case?
That way it's
Going the same way. Now, which is sound and which is light?
That's sound.
Why? What makes you say that?
Well, because that's straight. Each thing there is like a vibration, and this is the
That's the
thing
air.
that it travels on.
Yes. In other words, in air, when sound travels, that the molecules of air are pushed closer together under pressure, and then the molecules get further apart, and this is what carries the energy. So this is a sound wave. Called a wave of compression. While in air, in light, the wave is going at right angles to the direction it travels.
Going in all directions.
And this, in this case, does not represent air, but light itself.
Light?
Light itself, not air, because obviously it'll go through.
Oh.
So that's one of the other major differences in the case of sound, the wave is a variation this way, while in light the wave is a variation this way, and not only in one direction but in all directions as it goes along. And there are many other differences. For instance, light is an electromagnetic phenomenon, and travels at a fairly high speed. You remember what the speed of light is?
186,000 miles per second.
Yeah, everybody seems to know that since science. 186,000 miles per second. How about sound? Sound is not electromagnetic, and what is its speed? Well, remember airplanes go at the speed of sound and so forth? 1,100 feet per second. One is 186,000 miles per second, and the other one is 1,100 feet per second.
That's a big difference.
Yes, sound is very slow compared to, because you see it needs to bump into molecules while light is going directly. And there are some other differences too, but the thing I wanted you to realize that most people don't realize that you can do focusing and all these things with both sound and light. And there are many others that we haven't talked about. For example, interference, where you see rainbow colors. You can do that with sound too. Resonance, the idea that you can build up the amplitude of sound by combining frequencies. You can do that with light too. So that almost everything you do with light, you can do with sound. And almost everything you can do with sound, you can do with light, except one thing.
What's that? What thing?
Well, when we looked at these waves like this, remember I said that light waves go in all directions?
Yeah.
In other words, not only is it going in this direction, but it should also be going in this direction. And look what happens to the wave.
Straightens out.
Yes, I can't make the wave go up and down this way. Why not?
Because you got to hit the floor in the way.
It hits the floor. So what we've done here is we've polarized this vibration. If I try to go in this direction, it dampens out and we don't get anything. The only way we can get light to go is in this direction. So now we have, in effect, polarized light. We only all our light's going along this direction. How about sound, though? You see, that still goes, doesn't it?
Sound still goes.
Okay. Now, if we now polarize the light not only in this direction, like the floor, but also in this direction, watch what happens here. Hold on to this, because I have a couple of bricks over there. I'm going to put them in position. Now, what will happen if I send a light wave that's not polarized, that's polarized this way by the floor, polarized this way, but is not polarized in this direction? What will happen when it gets to the bricks?
Well, when it gets to the bricks, it's going to have a pretty hard time getting through.
Yeah, watch. See how it stops going through?
Yeah.
And on the other side, there's no light at all over there because there's no vibration. See it? Very little.
It stops it.
Yeah. But watch what happens when I do this with a sound wave.
Goes right through.
See how it goes right through? So therefore, what is one of the major differences between light and sound?
Well, you can polarize light.
Yes.
But not sound.
But not sound. That you must have a vibration moving in all planes before you can do it. And that's not true with sound. Now, I can show you this. Remember, we have polarized with the floor and with bricks.
And with bricks.
Floor in one direction, bricks in the other. Here, I have some pieces of plastic that do that same thing right here. Now, here's a piece of plastic. You hold it up in front of your face, and I'll make you disappear. You hold it up like that. Let us say that this piece of plastic polarizes light like the floor.
Okay.
So all the light coming through to me, or all the light going through to you, is polarized just like this.
Right.
Now, I have another piece here, and look what happens. Right now, this is the same as the floor. But watch, I'll turn it so it's like the bricks. Where did you go?
Where are you?
I'm right here. Where are you?
Well, I don't think I moved.
What's happened now?
this piece is like the floor.
Yeah, and this piece is like the brick, so we polarize the light.
Polarize the whole thing.
So that no light gets, or very little light gets through. There's some of the blue frequencies that do get through it. But by turning it so that they're both lined up the same way like this, then you can see through it without any trouble. Although notice that some of the light is gone. It's not as bright as before because this absorbs some of the light. But now when I do it this way, we polarize light, something you cannot do with sound. And you remember when you came in, I was doing that, making sound stay on, but light was disappearing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was using. Come over here. Watch out for the hose. All right, turn on the light, shine the projector up here, and there's sound and there's light, and then watch what happens. You see, I told you you could polarize light, but you can't polarize sound.
Well, those are just words.
Well, but it does illustrate what I'm talking about, doesn't it?
Yes.
Now, can you explain that? Here, let me turn the thing over here so that you can see. See, these are the kind of things they used to paint labels on boxes, stencils, sound. And look at that dark thing around light there.
Yeah, is that another piece of plastic?
Yes, there's a piece of polarizing material here over the light, but not over the sound. So when I put it on this side like this, and hold this like this light is polarized only in one direction, in the direction of whatever I move the back one in, because there's only one polarizer there, right? But this one has a polarizer in it, so when I hold these together, they're both like the floor. If this one's like the floor, what's the one in the back like?
The bricks.
The bricks, that's right. So that's how I made sound and light disappear. Now that you can do some other very interesting things. Let me take this off. Because certain types of cellophane tape are polarizing. Here's a piece of that polarizing material. On the top I put all different pieces of cellophane tape, all in different directions. So if I put this up here, I can polarize the light that goes through it. See, like that. Now, while you can't see it at the moment, these little pieces of cellophane tape have twisted and polarized the light even more. And watch what happens when I hold this one up.
All different colors.
Yes. So, while light and sound are very much alike, what you can do with one, you can do with the other. There's one thing you can't do, and one of the major differences between them is that you can polarize light like this, but you can't do that with sound.
Watch Mr. Wizard is presented each week at this time by the Public Affairs Department of NBC News in cooperation with New York University.